90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. More information is at farmbureauadvantage.com.
The Remarkable Soybean. From its oil, we get products like ink, candles, and paint. From its meal, we get a high-protein fiber used in foods and animal feeds. Natural soy is replacing chemicals and products you use every day. You can learn more about soybeans at vasoybean.com.
Millennials and agriculture. Those are two words you don't often find paired together in the same sentence. This week we explore what farmers should know about millennials and what millennials should know about agriculture. My special guest for this conversation is Morgan Slavin. We also have a story on a Virginia farmer who was named as Southeastern Farmer of the Year, plus a look at how the beef cattle industry is providing training for food distributors. Those stories and more on this episode of Virginia Farming. I'm Jeff Ishii. The spring of 2018 is at hand, and farmers all around Virginia are busy getting machinery ready to roll while also analyzing field conditions. The most recent crop weather report indicates soil moisture is mostly adequate, while pastures and hayfields are greening up nicely in early March. Small grains and cover crops are growing rapidly in most areas of the state, with farmers scouting their fields for any sign of disease or insect pest. After a dry winter, most farm ponds are now starting to recharge, and groundwater levels have been recovering after a significant decline last fall. Well, a Virginia farmer has been selected for a prestigious award. Sherry McKinney has the story from Pittsylvania County.
Most Virginia farmers grew up on their family farm. They learned the agriculture industry through their daily lives and lessons from their parents and siblings. Robert Mills is not that farmer. Mills grew up in a Danville area subdivision. His parents both worked outside the home, but growing up in Pittsylvania County has an advantage for a boy with a dream to one day own his own farm. You are surrounded by farmland and an active agriculture education program at school.
When I had an opportunity in 8th grade to take my first agriculture class, and after 2 weeks of that class and being introduced to so many different things of agriculture, and one of those being FFA, and that being a very important part of my life, I fell in love with agriculture and knew from that point forward that that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, was to be a full-time farmer. Never knew it was going to take the sacrifice that it took, but it's been worth it all in the end.
He knew his calling was to work the land and fulfill a dream to one day own his own farm.
I actually started my first crop when I was 13. I started raising vegetables as my SAE project with FFA. And the SAE is Supervised Agricultural Experience. And I raised sweet potatoes. And the farm grew from that each and every year, all those years up until 2001. And that was the day that I quit my full-time job and came home to be a full-time farmer.
He has been working his own farm in Pittsylvania County for the past 16 years, raising beef cattle, poultry, and tobacco, and his hard work has paid off. This past year, Mills was selected from a field of 10 state-level finalists at the Swisher Sweets Sunbelt Expo Southeastern Farmer of the Year, a huge honor that he humbly accepts.
So many people want to make this award about me and about what our family's done, but this award has been more about what people have done for us. We could never have accomplished what we've done, without the help of so many people, from that 8th grade agriculture teacher that sparked the dream to the lending institution that lets me borrow money every year to operate. Every single one played a very, very important role in what we do in our occupation.
It isn't uncommon to see him on the farm working until long after sunset, many times with his sons or with younger farmers in the area. He says this is his opportunity to give back.
This farm is much more than a farm, it's a legacy. And it's a legacy that I want to pass on to my children. And some of those don't have children to pass it on to, or the children aren't interested, but they want that legacy to continue. As long as that farm is in existence, that family who's farmed it all those years, that farm will always be called by that name. And when that farm is cut up into acre lots, that legacy is gone forever.
When you're considered one of the top farmers in the country, a trade you literally taught yourself, what is the advice one would give to anyone seeking out their dreams and goals?
What I'd like for other communities to know is to seek out those young people that have that passion, have that dream, mentor them, and help them and encourage them. We live in a society that discourages a lot of young people from having dreams. Be that encourager, be that support person, and then take joy when they do become successful in life.
Because you really are being a farmer of dreams at that point, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Mills has experienced many successes in agriculture, including several Virginia Farm Bureau awards through the VFBF Young Farmers, and is currently a member of the State Board of Directors. In addition, he is the president of the Virginia Department of Agriculture Board of Directors, all of which he approaches the same way as he does a day's work on the farm, with passion for an industry he fell in love with as a 13-year-old boy. Reporting in Pennsylvania County, I'm Sherry McKinney.
Thank you, Sherry, for that report. Well, Virginia will join in the celebration of National Agriculture Week, which is March 18th through the 24th. The national observance encourages Americans to understand how food and fiber are produced. The goal is also to help people appreciate the role that agriculture plays in providing a safe, abundant, and also an affordable food supply. Numerous activities are being planned by county farm bureaus as well as FFA chapters around the state. Once again, National Agriculture Week is March 18th through the 24th. National Agriculture Day will be observed on Tuesday, March 20th. The U.S. cattle industry has a distinct interest in helping to train sales reps for food distribution companies. Bob Cervera has the story from the American Angus Association.
In food service distribution, a center of the plate specialist is there to support his staff through tools and training.
We do Beef 101 classes, we do farm to fork type of meat labs, which we go out to the different plants and teach them all the different aspects from farming to feeding to processing and breaking down the animal. Then I ride around with them and see customers on a day-to-day basis, meet with chefs, do cuttings, yield lab tests, that type of thing.
They help combat ever-evolving sales objections, walking chefs through everything from economics to sustainability claims.
We've got people that come out of the tech industry that are selling, computer parts or whatever. They have sales experience. So we've got to take them through every step. We've got to teach them from the beginning. They go through about a 3-week process at Cisco University, at my company. And then from there, we go even more in depth. So we can take any type of salesman that has the drive and teach them the basic knowledges of the meat industry and let them go sell successfully.
Ongoing training increases confidence and sales in tandem.
It's all about the knowledge nowadays. You've got to be able to be credible in front of the chef. Knowing the brands that we have, knowing how to cut them, a lot of times knowing how to cook them in the different applications. Where the more successful people do better when they have more knowledge.
Right now, Jareggi says beef marketing is the envy of other proteins, which are trying to catch up. The best way for beef to stay ahead begins with the ranchers.
Keep producing high quality cattle. The high quality, one of my mentors said, never lower your quality, you'll never have a problem.
That's a message that works in all segments of the beef community. I'm Bob Cervera.
Thank you, Bob, for that report. Millennials and agriculture. What do millennials know about farming? And what do farmers know about millennials? That's our focus on Ag Insights, coming up next. Hello everybody, Jeff Ishii here with Virginia Farming. It's my pleasure to welcome back to our program. You were with us several weeks ago. Morgan Slavin, you're from here in Weirs Cave, Virginia, in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. A very historic spot for Virginia agriculture and organizations that you've been involved with. But tell us more about yourself. One of the things I want to talk about today with Morgan, she is in her mid-20s. I want to talk about millennials and agriculture. And I think we're going to have some interesting
I think so.
Well, there's a lot of things that can be said, but tell us about Morgan Slavin.
Sure. Well, the first thing I always tell folks is I'm proud to be part of a family farming operation here in Weir's Cave. My siblings and I are the 6th generation to live and work on our family farm, and that's something I'm very proud of. But I currently have a 9-to-5 job with the Virginia Foundation for Agriculture in the Classroom as a development associate, but definitely very passionate about agricultural advocacy, agricultural literacy, and bridging the gap between producer and consumer.
You also have experience with Farm Bureau, I believe.
I do.
And you were a state officer with FFA.
I was. So I used to do some program work with American Farm Bureau with the Young Farmer Rancher program and rural development, and then also was on state staff after I was a state FFA officer, was a state coordinator for the FFA officer team for several years. So I love that program development work too.
Very involved in Virginia agriculture, and we certainly appreciate everything you do, Morgan. All right, millennials in agriculture. A lot of us old fogies, we're trying to figure this out, but maybe you can help us. There's a generation, age, I don't know, 18 to mid-30s or so, and we are trying to understand from a couple of different perspectives about millennials and agriculture. I think most of us we're concerned about the future of agriculture and where is it going to go from here. The average Virginia farmer is 58 years old. That's my age. I'm 58 years old. So what is Virginia agriculture going to look like 30 years from now when you're in your... So let's broach this from a couple of different perspectives. First of all, the consumer perspective.
Yes.
What impact has the millennial had on agriculture from the consumer perspective?
So the first thing that comes to my mind when you ask that question is I remember sitting in a common space area my freshman year at Virginia Tech, and the common book that year was Animal Vegetable Miracle. And it talked about locally sourcing food, and this family who actually, I believe, resided in Southwest Virginia, only got their food, sourced their food from within, I think, maybe 100 miles or something. So I remember sitting in my room and overhearing one of my peers out in the common space say, "You guys, after I read this common book, we can't eat the potatoes at D2. And I said, what in the world? So I go out and I listened in on the conversation. She said the potatoes are from Idaho, and the book said you can only get food from within 100 miles. She said this while holding a Starbucks cup, and I'm not really sure if cocoa beans and sugar are sourced within 100 miles of Blacksburg. But with that being said, I believe millennials, especially now that we're getting into the consumer world, we're making purchasing decisions in the grocery store, we're finding and sourcing our own information. I think consumers, especially in the millennial age, are most interested in getting their information firsthand. And whereas I think other generations have referred to the news or did their own research, a lot of times millennials are getting peer recommendations. You see all the time on Facebook. Those asks.
It is truly a different age, because when I was your age, it was all about TV dinners and convenience and microwave ovens and whoever read a label on a food product?
Exactly.
Who cared where it came from? But now people really want to know not only where it came from, but they want to know exactly how it was produced.
Yes.
Why?
I think a lot of it comes from especially the idea of environmental impact. A lot of millennials are more aware about their place in society and maybe how they influence the people around them, the world around them. So I think that, and this is my perspective, that a lot of consumer millennials are out there wondering, okay, I want to know exactly who's producing my food. I want to make sure I'm supporting somebody locally, my money's being used the right way, and also to make sure that they can be guilt-free when they go to eat.
Guilt-free, that's interesting. They want to have a conscience. They have a conscience. I see that's totally alien to my generation. You went through the drive-through and you could care less as long as it was under $1, you bought it.
Exactly.
Well, that's very interesting. Of course, We have seen a lot of trends with this buy local, the farm to table movement.
Yes.
I haven't been inside a university cafeteria in a long, long time, but I suspect it looks dramatically different from when I was in college.
Oh yes. Again, that year, it became a big push to want to have this locally sourced food. And I believe now Virginia Tech is utilizing a lot of their own livestock, beef products, some of the on-farm or on-university raised products in the cafeterias now.
Yeah. Well, it's all about change and people accepting change. You know, there's an old pearl of wisdom that says the only change that most people like comes from a vending machine.
This is true.
But change is going to be constant. There is going to be change. Now let's talk about the changes that we could see in production agriculture with millennials. How many people, and tell me about some of your friends who are interested in being an agricultural producer.
I think that the face of the agriculture producer will change in the way that they manage their time, money, and resources. I believe millennials that are my age are more interested in researching, again, kind of that same aspect where consumers are researching more where their food comes from. Millennials my age are thinking, okay, how can I be the most efficient? Maybe it's apps on their phone for better record keeping. Maybe it's attending a lot of the seminars that Extension or Farm Credit are hosting so that they can get a better idea. But I think millennials are a learning generation, and they're going to be constantly trying to stay ahead of the curve to make sure that they're up to date with the highest technology that they can utilize.
We're talking with Morgan Slave. And Morgan, what can we, people in my generation, and again, I am the age of the average Virginia farmer, 58 years old, what can we do to ensure the success that agriculture continues and that those producers are successful?
I think the greatest bit of advice I can give on this is to give us a shot. I read an article one time that questioned the commitment of young people to agriculture, and I don't think that that our more mature generation should discount new ideas just because they're different from maybe how they have done them in the past. And there's a huge, you know, we're being compared to the baby boomers as far as causing change within society and culture. And so I would say give us a shot, because we're looking at the highest interest rates, we're looking at the highest tuition, we're still going to school to become involved in production agriculture, and we're coming out with less access to capital, less access to land, and it's a new time, but give us a shot, we'll make it happen.
Well, there certainly is a lot of creativity out there. And matter of fact, I've seen young farmers here in Virginia who don't even have land. They are growing, for instance, salad greens in an old abandoned warehouse.
Yes.
And it works.
Yeah.
It works. And they're making a profit. So, my generation would say, well, are they really farmers?
Yeah.
You don't have to ride a tractor to be a farmer.
Exactly. It's not plows, cows, and sows anymore.
Well, again, this is a very interesting topic, I know, to a lot of our viewers, because I think I'm sure that all of our viewers, we want to encourage the next generation.
Yes.
We want to make sure that Virginia agriculture continues in the future, and we want to make sure that we're not ever at a point where we're importing most of our food supply. Exactly. I think most of our viewers would agree with me, and I hope you would agree with me, that we want our food to be locally sourced if possible, but certainly within the United States of America and grown by American farmers.
Exactly.
Obviously, we do have to import some things, but not everything. Very interesting conversation, and I look forward to having you back on the program maybe again in the future, and we'll continue this conversation about millennials in agriculture. We'll be right back. This week, we take a look at preparing the soil in your farmhouse garden. Mark Viette takes us in the garden for the details.
When plants die in your garden, what do we all do? We blame ourselves. I have to tell you, it's not your fault if plants die in the garden. What I find is many of us are dealing with imperfect soils, heavy wet soils, clay soils, or soils that have been compacted by bulldozers, heavy equipment, to the density that's harder or thicker than concrete. And so our plants don't thrive. But there are a lot of things that we can do to improve our soils. If you have poor soils, within 3 years, you can have a perfect environment that will help your plants grow year after year after year. Be it trees, shrubs, flower gardens, annuals, or vegetables. There are a couple easy steps that you can do right in the beginning that'll ensure your success. I always like to have a nice, loose soil. So let's look at some of these things that will give you that environment for your plants. Have you ever heard a $10 hole for a $2 plant? Well, there's a reason for that saying. It's really important that you prepare the soil even before you think about what kind of plant goes where, because that's the most important factor. A lot of us are dealt with a given soil like this, which, you know, these make great mud balls. You know, they don't crumble, they make nice round balls, and if you actually threw this against a block building, it would stick to it. That really isn't healthy for a plant environment. What you really want is soil that crumbles, and when you work the soil, it's important that it's not too wet, because once you do work your soils and you compact them, it could take 5 years or longer for air and water to penetrate that hard pan that you created within your garden. We have taken all the soils around the home that were like this, heavy clay, in some areas very red clay. You really had a hard time digging, and we have made those soils now look like this. And there's a couple things that you can do. You can add compost, you can add organic fertilizers, and you're also going to have to get a workout. Watch this. Are you ready for your workout? It's this simple. Just take organic matter, and if you have your own compost pile, that's great. I suggest about 2 inches of organic matter over an area that you're planting. In addition to that, use an organic fertilizer like Plantone. Always read the label directions. I also like to use a mineralizer like green sand. And the term double dig is you're going to dig it twice. By putting it on first, I'm going to mix it in by doing this. And you just work the soil. Two times, then you're going to go deeper, and you can see some of that clay coming up, and I'm digging down to about 10 to 12 inches deep, probably deeper than a rototiller. Once you're done, you're ready to plant and enjoy your flowers, trees, shrubs, and vegetables for many years to come. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
Our pearl of wisdom this week comes from German poet Rainer Maria Rilke, who once wrote, "It is spring again. The earth is like a child that knows poems by heart." Submit your own pearl of wisdom through our website at virginiafarming.com. We'd like to conclude the show this week by thanking everyone for helping us to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Virginia Farming Television. We started the program way back in 2003 with the idea of serving not only Virginia farmers, but consumers and really everyone who appreciates where their food comes from. We thank you for your support, and we look forward to serving you as long as you'll have us. That does it for our show this week. Remember, you can catch us online on demand at virginiafarming.com. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Jeff Ishii for Virginia Farming.
90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member, and there's a local Farm Bureau in every county. More information is at vafarmbureau.org.
Virginia soybean farmers are hard at work growing soybeans to produce products you use every day. Candles, soaps, even crayons can be made from soybeans. Remember, when you buy soy, you're helping to support American jobs, the economy, and our nation's energy security.